All right, welcome everyone, Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Chihayafuru, Season 1, Episode 5. I stopped playing Karta.
He did.
Stop calling me.
He did.
Oh boy.
He's no longer an enthusiastic Karta player.
Nope. He's put that behind him.
He's a tackle boss. Oh, he
all right.
hard pivoted in life.
Just a bit.
Yeah. He basically got drafted up into the workforce.
Yep.
And probably doesn't even maybe go to school that often, too.
Probably not.
Depending if he's like running like a family business or something, or maybe his...
I would guess it's probably something like that. But, you know, will Chihaya be able to get the team back together? Possibly, but you've got an
with the tone of this show, nothing is guaranteed.
Right.
In a lot of ways, we're going for the emotional realism of what it is to grow up and hold on to a passion through growing up. In that one, we have 3 different types of people and their responses to it. One is held onto it tighter and tighter.
Yep.
The older that she's gotten. One has basically played pretty loose with it.
Yeah, kind of let go of it, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah, and then the other one has a revulsion towards it because of having to let go of it, I would say. Wow, this is going to hit too real and too hard. Love it. Love it, absolutely.
Good luck, Chihaya.
Y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Damn, proper music stinger. Wait, are they like romantically going to his place via train or something? Like
maybe.
Yeah, they are. Oh my god.
I mean, would you expect anything less from Chihaya?
I mean, I just realized they can do that. Like. Yeah. Okay, so they discussed that. Yeah, actually making the trip is going to cost him a lot of money.
Yep.
Cool, I'm not calling you. I'm going to visit.
Right.
Bastard.
And since you told me not to call you, I'm not going to let you know I'm coming.
Sure. Whew. Well, the OP gives me hope.
Yeah.
She hasn't heard his voice, though, in that many years, too.
You're basically dealing with a whole different person.
Oh, yeah. So they're headed southwest. Okay. Yeah, just something. Yeah, to occupy his time.
Right. It doesn't have to be a big thing.
Yep.
Although if it wasn't a big thing, he probably wouldn't have responded so negatively.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! No, good man, good man.
Yeah.
Trying to dissuade her from that silliness, yeah.
Love is...
Well...
when you date someone who's convenient, but definitely leave the door open for an old childhood friend.
What? So you don't love her? And you are absolutely okay with that. Yep, that is love. That's absolutely true.
Yeah. You're in trouble, dude.
Yep, that's it. That's the whole thing right there.
So you understand it and acknowledge it to yourself.
What? What? You're spacing. What's going on? Oh, she's just realizing that she's here and this is
Yeah, it's like, wait, what am I doing? Yeah. Like, that bit of realism of like, what if I go there and it's not, and it doesn't just make everything fine?
Yeah. This could be bad, yeah.
She staked her, like, whole teenage life on this whole Arata thing.
来てしまった。
行けよ千早。
太一からどうぞ。
お前マジムカつく。いきなりおとなしくなり。
Yeah, yeah, come on.
男同士はドライなんでしょ。
俺は俺で緊張すんだよ。
マシマ、おめえ。
Yeah.
卑怯なやつやの。
女子供にはわかんねえ。
Oh,
それ。
who are they? Yeah. New characters.
どうかしましたか。私隣の家の者ですけど。あなたの友達。そう。あなたが東京にいた時の。
Oh.
いつもこの時間は駅前の本屋でバイトやけど。
At this time of day. Bookstore during the day. Tackle boss at night. He might be working multiple jobs, yeah.
That or the jacket is like a thrift store jacket or something.
Sure.
私千早。ありがとうね教えてくれて。行くよ。
おい千早。
Well, she's got fired up.
We're from Tokyo. Yeah, no, I could tell from how you're dressed.
Yeah.
別に走んなくたって間に合うって。
だって急がないと。
急いだって結局。
I did track for this specific reason.
Yeah.
でもすごい。
That was fun running animation, actually. Yeah.
もう4月末なのに。
The fact that she was managing it in those high boots is impressive.
私、新たに会いたいのかな。会いたくないのかな。
俺はいいよ別に。このまま帰ったって。
Yeah.
My guy.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Well.
And then it's actually not him, it's somebody else.
Of course. Of course.
I think she might like him.
千早。
Wow.
会いたかった。会いたかった。
Oh.
So,
Hi.
not how he was
Oh my
expecting his
gosh.
day to go.
Yes.
切られそうなの置いておきます。
Oh my gosh.
一体どうすれば。
ほんなら私帰るけど。
あ、悪かったな、ユウ。これつまんないものですが、隣さんもどうぞ。
Oh, okay.
新たも身長伸びたな。何センチだ ?173。
Oh.
へえ。もう173。
Wow.
サバ呼んで。目卑怯なやつやったもんな。
Damn.
お風呂いただきました。
お前なんで髪まで洗ってんだよ。
だって後頭部も泥んこで。でもパンツは大丈夫だったよ。
パンツとか言うな。
What?
小学生が。
パンツはパンツだもん。
だから服は着てっていいで。髪乾いたら帰って。
Yeah, now it's
He
your
did
place
not
to
want
actually
to see
do
you
that.
guys.
帰ろう。
私新たに手紙書いてきたの。
手紙？
ちゃんと話せるかわかんないし、読みながら話そうかと。
Sure.
これ。カルタしようよ。また3人で。
Are you really like
Yeah.
trying to piss him off?
カルタで一番好きなのはね。
Did you not hear him say, please leave?
いい想像しかできないの。かつ想像、新たも同じでしょ。みんな中学になってバラバラになっちゃったけど、きっと新たは一人でもカルタをしてる。私ずっと。
わからんの。もうカルタはやってない。
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
やらない。
Literally right in front of it.
Yeah.
メガネ君のおじいさんは衛生名人ですごい人だ。おじいさんに教えてもらって。
新た。
Always talking, not listening.
千早。
Oh, peak drama. Here
Yep.
we go.
もう昔の新たじゃねえんだよ。
なんかあるんだよ。私信じてるもん。
新たに教えてんな。
Yeah, you're not You're not following with what he actually wants or
見に来たんじゃない
tracks with here, yeah.
もう来ねえよ
But you left the cards, so most poems will stare him in the face until he has the heart to pick them up and move them.
Right.
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Yeah, she's coming with the cards, yeah. Yeah, that's cruel.
Yeah.
God, I bet these were such evocative manga panels. To
Oh, sure. Yeah.
like everything is so splashy and dramatic.
持ってなくてカルタでは日本で一番は世界で一番
One at a time, yeah.
なってみたいと思ったの
That's great and all. But he doesn't want that.
なんであなたはカルタやってないのやめたって本当に何があったのねえ
Oh.
When someone you care about is hurting, and there's probably not a damn thing you can...
あなたは綿谷先生のことが大好きやった4年前に先生脳一血で倒れてもてあなたはずっと介護手伝ってたんや一生懸命やってたやつ
Jeez.
あなたが留守番してるはずの日に綿谷先生発作起こしてもて
While he was probably playing Karuta.
綿谷君帰りなさい早く
Oh.
折れられて
Yep.
Damn it, man.
Yep.
No.
As if the association wasn't strong enough already, right?
Karuta killed my grandfather.
Yep.
Yep.
And I wasn't there to see him go.
あなたは
Wow, and it's even the same class that you were gonna do, Chihaya.
Yep, yep. It never rains, but it
これ
pours.
からあなたはカルタを触っとる
So I had to pick these up for him because he literally
Yeah.
can't touch them.
I maybe have been picking things up a lot.
And it's not that he necessarily doesn't want to, it's that he literally can't. Like,
Yep.
なあじいちゃん
あー
カルタ取れるんやもう出とるがなんでよなんでわかるんや
カルタの神様のおかげかもしれんの
カルタの
カルタを大好きになって、
You believe in the heart of the cards.
音の一歩先を教えてくれることがあるんやカルタを好きなことやったら新たには
Even
ま
now.
だまだ負けんよ、
もし本当に
if I had been holding his hand rather than holding one of these cards, maybe he'd still be
じいちゃん
here.
の形をしている
Ugh.
私あなたに手紙書いてきたの
Yeah. But what did she want to say?
And she wrote it like Karuta cards. Baka.
Yeah.
今年の私の年賀状はちゃんと届いたか
Like cue cards for her to talk to
新
him.
たの写メをくれって言ってた
Because that's how she remembers things now.
新たに会えるかどうか聞く
Hey, she kind of got you, dude. You actually picked up the Karuta cards, kind of.
こっちの
Kinda.
手紙
Oh,
私は
very short.
新たをカルタの神様みたいに思ってます会えなければ会えないほど神様になっていくみたいです
Whoa.
Well, okay.
俺は神様じゃないなんや神様じゃなくて友達でいたいよ
So. And now she sleeps.
Defeated.
世の乗り物だタコじゃなくて人間でいよ
Nope, too tired. Must rest.
Oh.
ごめんいけなかった
A lot of feelings to process.
Yeah.
No way.
What?
Like she could hear it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, that's so cool.
来てほしくなかった
But I'm glad you did.
こんな自分を
Right, right. I don't want you to see me like this, but.
Yep, 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 yep. Oh, I love that detail. Like she's just passed out sleeping and through the windows.
her ears are so tuned to like
for those
specific syllables.
Yeah, that she's just like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I missed you too.
Yeah.
When you ripped him off that bike, if that had been all it was, that would have changed his life. To know that he hasn't been forgotten.
Now back to being tired again.
I mean, you're not Karuta.
Okay, no, yeah,
know?
hang on now.
Hold on.
He didn't actually say that.
Yeah, you can hope.
It's that he really cares about you guys.
She cooks like we do, Jacob.
Right.
She's like, if A is A, then A is D, you know?
Right. Yeah, no.
Uh-huh.
She heard her card being called.
Wow, way to go, Taichi. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So beautiful and so painful and like the...
That. That hurts.
Yeah. These characters truly are bakas. And it's like you see them do stuff and you're just like, okay, I love you, baka. Do you see where this road leads?
Oh, he does.
Pain. Lots and lots of pain. Okay.
Well, we have got the three reunited for a period of time. We had a painful reunion when it happened.
A lot of
feelings. It wasn't because he didn't want to see them, really.
Right.
He just knew with the way that Chihaya was bringing this up that they were going to be the reminder of Karuta for Wataya here.
Say what you will about Chihaya, she is not exactly, she is very in tune with her feelings, but not necessarily in tune with other people's feelings. And so as a result, she's just a giant cement roller that comes in and it's just like...
grabs him off the bike and yeets him down, nearly breaks his neck. I love the forcefulness with which she moves the plot.
Yes.
Very excited
very
about
fun
that.
as a protagonist.
Yeah, very fun protagonist, but someone that is insufferably so bludgeoning her way through other people's lives and feelings.
Right, like the character who my heart went out to the most here was the next door neighbor.
Yeah.
Who then comes back and is like, please just go.
Yeah.
Take this and go.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's the you weren't, seeing him hurt like this for the past,
years.
3 years or whatever, right? Like just go.
Right. 4 years ago is when the stroke happened.
And then he took care of him.
For all that time until he inevitably passed.
And then
so this
all
is
the
not,
blaming of himself because he wasn't
just,
there.
This is not just the pain of your grandfather died. This is the pain of they died because when you were supposed to be helping him, when you were going through all this time of taking care of him, you then went to a Karuta tournament, which means then that his health being low didn't deter you from playing Karuta. It might have taken away time to practice and do all that stuff.
Sure.
But emotionally, you still wanted to do it, Arata. So then to have the... And to not this show's discredit in any way, but the way in which this episode was written and the reveals with regards to Arata is that there was so much that was stacked on top of itself to make the crumbling house of cards fall so painfully and dramatically. That then to have the, I'm here, I rip you off the bike and I, set out the cards, and then he kicks the cards. There's a lot about this that is over the top in a very dramatic way.
Absolutely.
Which I get that in the beginning of a story, you do want to establish the tone. Given that we are in the present finally, after a good amount of time in the past, this is the more mature version of the dramatic stuff that happened when they were younger.
Right.
But it is still a little bit for me to get used to, because what that means then is that what's the most dramatic response that can be given here in the story? That's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
and so
it is.
In some ways, the more subtle a character is, the more I'm going to kind of gravitate towards them. And Arata's characterization and the way that he's portraying this pain is actually rather subtle. So I'm actually gravitating more towards him rather than our protagonist, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
Like
Taichi, I'm like
I follow where she's at, but
right, exactly. It's something where, and I think that's one of those things where it has the teen energy, you know, right? Where it's like, right. Like, now that I'm, you know, old and grumpy, I see some of that stuff and I'm like, that looks exhausting, you know?
Yeah. I think that's part of it as well, is that I remember feeling so deeply and intensely that I would just be caught about in the winds and the waves, and I
tempest of youth,
I had no grounding to my emotions and what have you, through like discipline, just mental and emotional fortitude in general. But I do wish a little bit that when I had those turbulent feelings, or it was all or nothing, that I could act in the midst of them. But honestly, I found in my younger years that those intense emotions were more crippling than empowering. And so the fact that Chihaya is the protagonist that then is charged by that emotion, when it's positive or when there's hope behind it, but then is defeated and dejected when it's negative, that's a fun mix to have, because
big swings.
It makes it very like big swingy kind of emotions and stuff. But then it in some ways allows the other characters to be more reactive and to be more subtle as they grapple with her big feelings.
Exactly.
So
the thing of Taichi being like, let's start a karate club for when he comes back, right?
Yeah.
How much of there's so many layers to that, right?
So many.
There's the yes, we're actually going to start doing this thing that, by the way, I put aside and basically said I didn't really have much interest in.
And we're going to be the best in Japan.
We're going to be the best in Japan and all that stuff, and so we've got to really dedicate ourselves to this.
So that Arata can come back to that.
Exactly. It's the I'm doing this because it'll make you feel better because you're really low here and all that stuff, right? And so I'm doing it so that you'll feel better. But then also the thing that you're feeling low about is the fact that this guy is not here, and so I'm going to help you light a candle holding out hope for him coming back.
To put it in a much simpler terms, he is playing a game that he knows he can't win.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, specifically what his mom and dad told him never to do.
Right.
So in a lot of ways, Taichi has grown up, but in a lot of ways, he's also doing this.
But this is
probably not thinking this deeply about it.
Right. This is probably the one time where listening to your parents' advice would maybe be helpful.
Right. And this is where I actually feel like I need to also curb a little bit of my coldness a little bit here, because there's something with regards to the wisdom of age, in that you realize that there are certain things that just aren't realistic. And so you cut your losses and you move on. Right?
Sure.
That's a part of growing up.
Yep.
These characters have not grown up yet. They are growing up, but they have not grown up yet.
Right.
Therefore, they are going to throw their chips, if you will, onto the table for things that will not yield them anything in the immediate
They will drink deeply from a great many different cups. And many of them
are very painful cups. Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
So in a lot of ways, the agony and the drive, if you will, of this show is that you like watching characters crash headlong into love and pain, with their clenched fist grabbing firmly onto that love and pain.
Right. To the
one
point,
in each hand.
To the point where when the person comes running up to you crying and says, "Take these cards away. Why did you leave them behind? His grandpa died and all of this sad stuff happened." You start going off about how he said that if you become the best at karate, you become the best in the world, or whatever, and best in Japan. And it's like, are you not listening to the things that I was just saying?
Right.
What does that have to do with this?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
there's
everything's all mixed up sometimes.
Well, there's something to be said about the fact that your protagonist should be selfish. This is
a
a
king
bit of
is
a
greedier than any other.
yes. This is a bit of a detour, but let me cook with this here.
Mm-hmm.
In that, if your protagonist is an I want protagonist,
Right.
Meaning that their ultimate crystallization of their character will be when they get the thing that they want, and they basically get to share in that achievement, in that, arrival with others.
Okay.
Chihaya is the absolute definition of that. A lot of the things that she does in order to get what she wants aren't actually that selfless. In fact, they're pretty selfish.
Oh, very much so.
And thus, the idea that she's not gotten better at reading other people's feelings, or
I mean,
or kind of engaging with other people's feelings, she's kind of gotten worse at it. So
because let's be real, that's one of the reasons why Arata and Taichi are probably drawn to her. It
has nothing to do with her decision, though.
Okay,
What I'm talking about is the fact that she is committed to this more so than when she was younger,
right?
Because she needed the approval of these other people. She wanted to do karuta with them. She needed to do it with them. She's now gone through it for years now without them, and that's because she's gotten more disciplined and more emotionally resolute and strong within her own dream.
Right.
But in doing so, she now doesn't know how to handle someone else's dream not being in alignment with hers. So, yeah, I just want it to be acknowledged that she's got a very stark, straightforward flaw.
Yes.
But it will be a long time before she truly is able to acknowledge it and make progress in it.
Right, because she's been able to get very far using that strength, seeing everything as a nail when you've got a good hammer, right?
Yeah.
And the people that are closest to her could really use that hammer.
Yeah.
Right? To have that confidence in yourself and in your own feelings and what you're about to go at it with that reckless abandon, right? Where you just basically, either tug everyone along with you or kind of just run them over, right?
Or just run away from them if they're any kind of resistance. Just go around them.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Just keep going,
Just keep going,
For for very different reasons, Taichi and Arata both very much probably want that, right? And that's probably why they're drawn to her, right?
Totally.
Which means then you have something where you basically don't have someone to curb that. You don't have the reverse. You don't have the other perspective.
The balance,
the balance, because, well, you're very effective at this, right? You're very good at basically, showing people the uses for your particular hammer, right? And how far will that take you? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? And what I like so far is that the story isn't really about that right now. It will become that at one point. I guarantee you there will be a point where this story acknowledges that, because she's our protagonist. She is the protagonist.
Right.
You can say it's a trio of protagonists all you want, but no.
She's the main character.
She's the main character. They are the love triangle options.
Yes.
And they are the ones that will need to grow the fastest first in order to be in her life.
Right.
But she doesn't. She's got her own sights set ahead. Nothing is currently blocking her path. She's just in agony of the realization that as she moves forward, they aren't following behind her.
Yeah.
And this is the part that I'm very, very excited about her character then, is that's so real. That is just life right there. Is the realization that you will out-convenience yourself out of relationships.
Yeah.
Is that the wrong way to do it? No. People will be, you and others will be inconvenienced out of relationships.
Right. You'll get different orbits, basically. Right.
And it will get harder and harder to stay in orbit as they swing further and further out.
Right. Yeah. And Taichi here just made a
declaration.
A declaration, basically, that he's going to stay in that orbit. When up until now, he had been kind of being like, I got a different orbit now.
Yeah.
And
and for these reasons, I'm out.
And for these reasons, I'm out, But
But
he's kind of choosing two different things simultaneously right now, or at the very least, he's choosing something contrary to what he has espoused thus far in the story.
And he can't be too mad at
at
Chihaya
Chihaya,
because
no.
he's not communicating.
Right. He's
So,
just like
like-
he's just now just like the real question now is, Taichi, okay, so what are you gonna do? Because let's be real. Come on, Taichi. You got to break up with that girlfriend.
You got it.
You have to.
I love his realization that, like, oh, love is when you can't stand being with somebody. And then he finished the rest of the statement in his head, and she kind of looks at him like, wait, what? Like,
yeah.
like,
what are you huffing?
And I was thinking in my head, like, hold on, let him cook. He's got something to say, but he won't even say that with her.
Right.
Because that would be effectively revealing his feelings to her. Like, he's so layered up inside with regards to his own cowardice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
With regards to being scared to share his feelings, that I do come all the way back around to feeling for him after this episode.
Yep.
Because he's kind of a dumbass kind of player boy
Sure.
in the previous episode. In that what we saw him to be is that, yeah, he was willing to go to the tournament. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
He's the guy that stayed around, not because it was his choice. It's just
That's how things went.
Well, no, there was just no inconveniences that took him away. Like,
Right. Yeah.
But
His family didn't move or anything.
no,
Yeah.
exactly right. He's not in a situation where he has to go basically where his family is. He could, even if they moved, he'd probably be like, oh, they'll just rent out an apartment for me here, and I'll
Right,
just
because they
keep
want me
going
to
school.
keep going to school in Tokyo.
Yeah, whatever.
Exactly. Right.
But Arata, we see that he dug in. He basically put in the work to try to hold himself true in the midst of the inconvenience, in the midst of what happened with his grandpa. And it was basically the straw that broke the camel's back.
Right.
One of the things that I talked about with Jacob in between the recording and the discussion was the idea that I was worried when they were doing this episode that it was just going to be that, oh, his grandpa died and he lost the ability to play karata.
Yeah.
And to me, I don't want to sound cold here, but that feels like it wouldn't be enough. It wouldn't be just, oh, your mentor passed away. And
Right, we haven't shown how close he was to his grandpa.
Exactly.
To have that truly be something that would be like devastating on like a fundamental level because karate was his whole world.
Right, and
that's
there's
a big thing to take away.
There's so many other things that you could take from this beyond the, oh, he, quit because of it. It's now the, oh, he quit because of the timing with where he was.
Right.
He quit because now he has a psychological connection to seeing the card and watching him slowly waste away and die over the years that he took care of him.
And finally missing the one card where basically he, metaphorically, of course, where he goes to the tournament and then that's when his grandpa dies.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mentioned earlier. But yeah, the other thing would be, oh, I ended up giving myself so wholly to this thing in the same way that he clearly did. If I keep going the way I'm going here, there could even be that small, subtle fear in the back of his mind that he's just going to end up,
Oh, yeah, what else am I going to give up along the way?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where it's the, hey, let's get more focus with Arata in order to get in, see
Deeper
that,
into it.
get deeper into it, see those
Yes.
internals and things like that, because so far it's been a lot of other people talking about how he must be feeling right now.
Right.
Rather than us actually getting from the horse's mouth,
Yes.
how you feeling, bud?
And and this is the kind of story where we have third-person omniscient view, so we will just get his internal thoughts at some point.
Right. Yeah, we've been getting Taichi's thoughts, so it only makes sense that at some point we get Arata's.
Right, so
Yeah.
I need Arata's, but this episode giving us the contradiction that he then chased after them because he really did miss them
Right.
means that he has separated in his mind and his heart the difference between karata and the people that play karata, which means then that this was a shock thing and he was alone.
Right.
And that's the other part that I'm hoping to get into here, is that it's a blink and you'll miss it kind of line, but Chihaya talks about his voice as a deep voice that she didn't know.
Oh,
And something in that kind of bugged me. You guys were best friends, and you have phones, and you never called him, ever.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me either of the Chihaya is actually pretty selfish and doesn't actually like care to reach out or anything like that.
Right, because he like sent them a postcard 2 years back at like New Year's or something. So there was some correspondence that was happening, even if it wasn't much.
But it would be easy to call on the phone.
Yeah.
This is not like some
that is
time
a good point.
100 years ago when certain people just didn't have phones.
To be fair, I don't know if that's something, because this episode was very dramatic.
Yeah.
That could just be something where it's the, hey, let's not think about that because that makes it easier for it to be dramatic this way. Or if it's,
No, I get that, but I looked at that and was like, oh, you guys aren't good friends. I'm just gonna bring that up. Like, they're friends where they share the common hobby and they don't have that. They were friends of convenience,
right?
And this is something that is a very real thing, but it also is just to show that you can be in a place where you dramatically, like, painfully miss somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You wish you could have that idyllic, fun, easy time of when you were kids, like little kids, right?
Yeah.
But this guy was a phone call away, and in his time of pain and agony, either he didn't reach out to them or they didn't reach out to him.
Right.
And given that there was some correspondence, they could have theoretically known about this stuff.
And there wasn't...
And still didn't reach out to
right.
him.
And I totally could have bought theoretically that they reached out and he's like, I don't want to talk or whatever. He did the thing that he effectively did once she finally called him.
Yeah, and we could get a flashback that shows that happening.
But given that that's how the call went that we did see,
right,
we can infer that did not happen.
Did not happen.
Right, so it's... And to be fair, hey, when you're a teenager, right... I don't exactly expect a lot of self-awareness from teenagers, right? So, a couple of years pass and you don't call somebody because out of sight, out of mind, and then you're just, whatever.
Well, okay.
Theoretically, but with how Chihaya is,
so
that
having,
feels a bit...
I want to use a bit of my own example here. As someone that grew up in the landline to cell phone transition, no, you call people on the dang phone. There was a point when we moved about 60, 70 miles away from our childhood, basically, like, growing up place, right? And there were a lot of friends that I went from being able to see every other day to every day to then seeing once a month to once every 3 months. But you call those people. And I will say, the reason why I know this is because there were some people I did call and there were some people I did not call.
Sure.
And the ones that I called also called me. And the ones that I didn't call, or maybe I called like once, they didn't call me. They never called me.
Right.
There was a strong, painful loss of connection despite the phone calls because it's not,
you can't fully replace it. Yeah.
But there was that point where I had the person that I saw after like 4 years or what have you, and I was like, oh my God, your voice is deep, you're big now, and what's going on? Those weren't my best friends. Those were my friends of convenience. The best friends, the ones that were really close, I still in some ways mourned their loss because, I don't have a car. I don't have the ability to just bike over to them. There's
but it's a present thing in your mind rather than something that goes to the background and then you get reminded all of a sudden.
And I went through that, basically, that like young teen to like older teen transition. It was literally around that time, and we didn't even have good phones or what have you. Like I didn't even have a cell phone until I was a fully grown adult and everything. But like, no, you call those people. So I'm watching fiction here, but this fiction is meant to emotionally pain me, and you're
like, come on,
and I'm getting mad at Chihaya here. The more and more I learn about Chihaya here,
this isn't an '80s horror movie where it's the cell phones don't exist, and so that solves 80% of potential plot problems. No. Don't you guys have phones? Yeah.
So it's a small nitpick as far as plot goes. But it's a painful thing in that I heard that thing in her voice of like, I don't recognize his voice. And I'm like, this guy was alone during all that time. And I understand the out of sight, out of mind, or the too proud to admit he needs help and pick up the phone. They're immature young ones and all
yeah,
that.
exactly. Passive-aggressive stuff that would basically, like, make it so that the connection wouldn't really work well.
The same person who barrels her way all the way to another prefecture, borrowing somebody else's money, didn't pick up the phone as she fell more in love with Karuta to tell him about it.
And exactly. She's been obsessing over Karuta this entire time, being like, all right, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Yeah, that does feel a bit odd. It's something where the dramatic aspects of this show, I feel like there's that adjustment going from the time when they're kids to the time when they're teens.
Sure.
Where a lot of that it just I don't know, feels like it fits very naturally when they're little kids.
Right.
Because they're little kids.
Yeah, they're little kids. And that could just be the stories that, you know what?
Yeah.
That's what happens sometimes.
Yeah.
You're little kids. And that is honestly a blank check that you can write for a lot of this stuff to make us understand why something did or didn't happen.
That's a lot of the conflict even with Taichi when we get reintroduced to him in the present, is that he's like, yeah, but I'm not a little kid anymore. I'm figuring out and adjusting to what that means exactly, and I definitely don't have it figured out.
No.
But I'm aware that that's something that I need to do, right? Whereas like Chihaya, very much one of her defining characteristics is that she isn't doing that, right? It's the, falling over asleep on the train and leaning out into the middle walkway, and it's like you're kind of in the way there. Like you could sleep in your chair,
Oh man, but I'm excited to have the Karuta Club focus be something that they then militantly go after together, and the ways in which Chihaya starts to see the feelings of those around her in the swell and deflating aspects of the joy of victory and the suffering of defeat.
All the turbulence of competition at a very high level.
Sure.
And also just puberty's a bitch.
Puberty's a bitch, yeah.
Right?
And then just this is going to be your time to be the anchor, Chihaya, because you will probably be the strongest player in your group for now.
Yeah.
There's a possibility that they give the genius role to somebody else, but I feel like it would be narratively appropriate for her to be the one that is don't worry, it's okay because I am here. And I will carry the team until you guys get to that extra proficient level.
And I mean, if you think about it, they did kind of do the I've finally gotten as strong as you, Kakarot.
Yes.
Because literally the time that he stopped playing is when he achieved the thing that she just achieved.
Yeah, that was...
So...
oh, man.
Yeah.
So much to get into, and this episode left us with a dagger in the heart. So So fuck you, show. I'll be here next week. But y'all, if you want to be here next week, right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. And also be sure to check out our Twitch channel. See if any of that interests you. We'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.